don't you go live? Come on. Go live. Why is this not going live? Come on. I'm hitting the button. You do not have permission to live stream. Why not? Why don't I have permission? Why don't I have permission? Uh-oh. Connected. Playing show. Okay. Let me cancel that. Let's see if I get back into this. Sorry, Caleb. For some reason, it's not letting me go live. It says I don't have permission. Do it again.
That's not good.
No, let me just, I'm not even going to give it any. I'm just going to get it playing. All right, let's see if that does it. There we go. It's coming up. Now we are live. Just as usual, it just takes me just a few minutes to get this stuff corrected. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't, but we are now.
Monday night, you got to be tuning into the Fling Show.
This is, again, one of those statements that it's half true, half false.
My favorite night is Monday nights. Tune in to the Fling Show. Bye.
Monday nights are Fling Show nights.
Hey everybody, tune into the Fling Show on Mondays. Lone Star just likes it. My favorite night's Monday night Fling Show night.
Tune into the Fling Show on Monday nights. Luke loves it.
Well, all right. Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Fling Show. Man, I just love showing video like that, especially on hole 18 at Stonebridge. Everybody knows that hole. A lot of tree hits. One of my favorite things about disc golf, tree hits, especially by really good disc golfers, as you saw right there. And Ricky Park 17 on that backhand flex over shot. Very difficult shot to do. We'll get to our guests here in just a second, but before we do, let's tell you about what's going on this weekend. I always think that it's off season, but as we all know in Houston, Texas, or in this area, there's no such thing as off season because this is the most beautiful weather that we are going to have, especially till about mid-January. So we have a tournament coming up. It's a PDGA C tier, Stonebridge Church, Saturday, December the 10th. This is going to be our last PDGA C tier event of the year. It's going to be a blast. Right now, we have a Call Your Ace shot sponsored by Lone Star Disc. You don't have to pay anything to get in. $250, holes 1, 9, and 12. If any of you take out a Lone Star Disc, videotape it, and you hit an ace, Lone Star is going to give you $250 during our round at Still Banging. Now, we're also going to have another Call Your Ace pot as well. This is going to be bought in for $5, 3 different holes. So during Stonebridge tournaments, you're going to have 6 different holes of opportunities to hit an ace, and one of them can be worth $250. Yes, I did say that. CTP prizes galore. one for every card, one for every division. It's going to be a blast for us. Now, we're doing this here at Stonebridge for a reason. They are one of the most giving communities in our area. This course we are allowed to use is absolutely gorgeous, and about 90% of the time is taken care of immaculate, that we don't even have to step in and help them. So it's time for us to reach in our pockets and help them out a little bit, the best that we always do. And you know what we do, folks, is we do it by donating. And this time they're asking for food. We were going to do a Toys for Tots and food drive, but they have said that they would be taken care of on the toy side of it. We're really like for us to concentrate on the food. So what we have done is we posted a picture of their needs. They sent it to us. It's on our Still Banging page for you to take a look at. So those of you who sign up, please do that. And even if you don't play in the tournament, please stop by their food bank and donate to them. It's such a wonderful cause for a church that does a lot for us. And then the next day we have Mr. Stillwagon's birthday. And what we're going to be having is the last thing of the year for us. And this is the BOD Open, Sunday, December the 11th at Shawshank Penitentiary. Everybody knows where that is in Huntsville. If you've not played BOD, check it out on our webpage. Rules will apply. Sign-ups the day of. And I love that course, and it will be a fun time out there on Mr. Stillwagon's birthday as well. Now, we have a couple of wonderful guests on this evening, and I'm going to bring on first a man who's been in Oklahoma. He's been there for a little while, but he is now back in town. I hope to get him at one of our tournaments here real soon. And he is also one of the first, if I'm not thinking, maybe in the second class, where they actually have something called a Disc Golf Scholarship. Let's welcome back to the show. Not the first time. If I'm not mistaken, this may even be the third time, Mr. Caleb Fennel. Caleb, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Man, thank you. I have been wanting to ask you so many questions. So we're going to do a little bit of fun way. We're going to delve into this doing it through a little true or false. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right. True or false? You have 37 career wins out of only playing in 38 tournaments.
I really wish I could say that one was true, but unfortunately, that one is false.
Well, is it partially false or completely false?
Completely false, unfortunately. Not even close.
You have 37 wins in PDGA in your stats, and I can only go by what it says in the PDGA. You have 37 wins out of 138 tournaments. Still not a bad percentage. Well done. Very well done.
That is more wins than I thought.
All right, true or false? Second one. You got the golden egg in getting a disc golf scholarship to a school in Oklahoma. Now, true or false? Not only did you get a scholarship to play, but you also signed the largest NIL deal for a college disc golfer, rivaling that of Quentin Ewers at the University of Texas. True or false?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with false on that one.
Are you sure it's all false, though?
I'm going to go half false.
Okay, so what part is true on that?
The first half.
Now, that is what I would like to kind of get into. Tell us a little bit about what that entailed, how you were able to get a disc golf scholarship, and what you did this year, this fall.
So basically the coach reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, we're starting up a team this semester, and we'd really like it if you could hop on with us." And so I went and toured the college and looked at their business program, and I was like, "Wow, this works out great." So I went ahead and hopped on. It covers, room, some books and classes, and so it's a really good deal for me. Lets me go get a degree and play the sport I love. So.
Well, and not only that you play the sport that you love, but you were very successful at it. Now, you got to play in a tournament, which I believe was the regional championships, the collegiate championships that's held in Austin, Texas, correct?
So we played the Texas Collegiate Championship. Yes, sir.
Now, true or false there, y'all took home the win over North Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas.
Yes, sir. That one is true.
So tell us a little bit about how y'all played. I saw it was you had 4 people, you're -4, you tied. So kind of walk us through the event itself and how it is that y'all won, even though you were tied with North Texas.
Okay. Yeah. So collegiate events, you have at least 2 rounds. Usually it's 3. This one, they cut it short and we only had 2 rounds, 1 singles and 1 doubles. So with collegiate singles, everybody on your team, you have 4 people on your team, you all play like you normally would a tournament, and you take all 4 of your scores and you average them together, and that's your team score for the first round. And when we did that, we were fortunate enough to all be within 1 stroke of each other. So we had a really good average. I believe it was like a 62, which was, I believe, 4 over. And then that second round, you all play doubles, but it's alternate doubles. So you'll have 1 pair of 2 on your even holes, and then the other 2 on your odd holes, and you'll alternate tee shots and every subsequent shot on that hole. And we played pretty well on that second round. We ended up coming down the stretch on 18. All we needed to do was par, and we would walk away with the win. Unfortunately, we didn't make it onto the island, and we took a bogey there, and that put us into a playoff with North Texas. After a little bit of waiting, trying to get everybody together to view that hole, we finally got to play. They flipped to see who goes first, and North Texas ended up having to tee off first. So we kind of knew it looked like it was in a really good spot. And so we knew we have to put this close. And our team captain, Landon, ended up putting it within 15 feet. And that pretty much sealed the deal. North Texas was 45 long with a bush in their view. And unfortunately, they weren't able to, make it. But it was really a high intensity pressure moment there. And we were all pretty pumped up after that.
Well, the good thing was that you already been through that when you did our match play. So you knew what those high intensity moments, being filmed with someone standing in your backswing about 2 feet away from you like I was, that kind of put you in some pressure when you were younger. So I think you were built for it anyway. But congratulations on the win. That's amazing. Congratulations on the scholarship. I know you deserve it. You worked really hard. I know it's not just based upon your play, but it's got to be based upon your studies as well. And I know that you worked on that very hard as well. But before I let you go, I did want to ask you 2 more questions. One is, what was your favorite event that you played this year in college, and things you're going to work on in our not off season?
Those are great questions. We'll start with the first one. It's really hard to pick one event because we've played 3 events so far. It's hard to pick one that's my favorite, but the one that's going to stand out the most, like later on in my life, is Texas Collegiate Championship. Just being able to finish that first round, feeling pretty good about it, being in the lead, overcome adversity, and go into a playoff and win. And that, just having all that pressure mount up and being able to execute and pull through on that one, that's going to live on in my mind and heart forever. So that's going to be my favorite.
And what are you going to work on?
Working on mental and physical health. Just got to make sure that, when you're playing collegiate, it's not just you out there anymore. You have 3 guys that are relying on you. You can't always run that 60-footer with OB behind it. You gotta lay it up, and it hurts. But knowing to do it and being able to do it, it's something you have to work on. So being able to, physically put myself into that position, and then mentally be able to make the best decision and have the best mindset throughout the event. What I'll be working on.
Great advice. And I think that's great advice for anybody else who's young coming up. But I think the amazing thing is that you're a prime example of being able to turn into passion and also take it into a school, which I applaud you for that. That's amazing. And I kidded about the NIL deal, but who knows? Maybe one day they're paying volleyball players, they're paying track athletes, they're paying the golf, they're going everywhere. So whatever brings the eyes and the money to the university will one day get paid for it. But congratulations on that. We're going to be keeping an eye out on you. I hope to see you at a couple of our events while you're over here during the winter time. But before we let you go, do you have anybody that you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Well, I would like to thank you for having me on. Mom and Dad for, letting me play disc golf and getting me out on the course so I can practice and get to where I am now. OC for letting me play for you, because it's a dream. And then Fly Towel for supporting me for 3 years now. Just having a lot of support behind me. Everybody in the Houston and Jacksonville disc golf communities, just everybody's kind of been there supporting me. So it's really cool.
Well, Caleb, thank you so much for joining the show. I definitely know we're going to be talking to you again in the future, and good luck to you next season as well, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
Great. Having a good night. Peace.
Peace.
All right. We are so lucky to have such a nice young man. I've known Caleb for a few years now. I remember I beat him maybe one time, and after that, haven't had success. So he's taken that just to the next level. And so wonderful to see. Now we're going to bring on our second guest. And I've been wanting to do this for a while now, but being old and seeing how things go in one ear, out the other ear, I can't remember tomorrow. But it was exciting because I call him young because he's younger than I am. This young man came to one of our events, and it was just great to see. He also had my partner on his show, the Local Route Disc Golf Podcast. I do believe that's on Sunday nights. And I'd like to introduce to y'all Mr. James House. James, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know people they're kind of going, that's odd. Y'all both do Disc Golf Podcast, or to go each other's show. But I think this is the best thing to do to bring our community together, because your passion is my passion. We both love this sport, and we both put on, I think, quality and fun events as well. So first off, I'd like to thank you for participating in ours, and thank you for coming on the show.
Outstanding. It's my privilege, and it's my pleasure to be on here, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me, and I feel the same way. I'm glad we got to get together and make this happen, because what's better than having one thing? Two, baby.
I agree. Amen. So we're going to start you off like we do most of our guests, and we're going to do a little true and false. Sometimes it's levity, sometimes it's half true, sometimes it's half false. You kind of fill in the blank. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. First off, you picked up disc golf to replace your last passion, which was squirrel suit base jumping.
That would probably be true. My last passion sport would probably be bass fishing. I bass fished for a little bit, enjoyed it very much. Before that, actually, I was in gymnastics competitively for about 6 years, and martial arts competitively for about 4 years also. So I like to dabble a little bit here and there.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did you find in that question really was, it's also then how did that translate to this sport?
My wife. My wife had some friends that played disc golf. She invited me to go play with them. I went and played with them for a couple of rounds. First round was at Zuby, and I can't say that I got hooked. It was more frustrating trying to figure out how people were throwing discs that far. And I just wanted to challenge myself and keep going to the point to where I made it to where I wanted to start doing tournaments. And then I caught the passion for not just playing tournaments, but also helping others doing it too. And I actually found that I much rather do that than actually go in tournaments and stuff. And that's probably what started the podcast amongst, Bubba Widener, Patrick Widener, all of us real good friends. We're at the house thinking of some things we can do. And podcast had came up, and then it just went from there.
That's incredible. And I love that as well, because you and I have something in common then, because I agree. I oftentimes find more joy in A, going out just for the fellowship, just to play, just a casual round, B, giving what knowledge I have. And even though I may not be able to throw it as well as they can, you can oftentimes pick up little things. And in the sports that you just mentioned, especially jujitsu, which is so technical, where you have to know the feeling of the body and where they're positioned, you're trying to get them to move somewhere so you can slide something else in correctly. You can see oftentimes people, their mistakes or some things that will help them do that. So that's well put. And I love that passion itself. Now, our second true and false question is, you decided to go pro in the MP40 division because you did not see that there was any competition in the city of Houston in that division.
That would be false in one part, that there's no competition. That's exactly why I did do it, was because I started in novice probably about 3 years ago, didn't really do tournaments, mostly bag tags. I didn't do anything, didn't play bag tags or tournaments probably for about a year. And I actually progressed quite a bit to where I wanted to start playing more tournaments. I got to a point to where I think I'm a decent player enough to where I keep up with the advance, but not quite with open players. So I use that to push myself. And I found a lot of times that I keep up with some of the open players sometimes. And I do it to push myself.
That's great. And we have other players that I saw that, you know, they went and started playing with pros, even though their rating was, let's say at the beginning, 870. But now their game has picked up because, as sometimes, and even in the sport, once again, going back to what you do is or did was iron sharpens iron. And being around somebody more talented than you are allows you to get better. If you're always playing with people that are either your level or below, the likelihood of you getting better is going to be slower. I'm not saying you're not going to, but it's going to be slower, because playing with better players, they even pick out your nuances of like, hey, you know what, I've learned more about flicking a disc from RickyOvat and Russell Taylor and Matt Stillwagon and a lot of these guys who flick all the time. We sit there and go, okay, here's what you're doing. Or Jason Maith, with Lucky Ace. I mean, they help me with my shot backhand. I'm talking about AP and Freddie, and we're very fortunate and to have all this talent in this city. That's why I was kind of kidding with you with the MP40 division, because I try to tell most people, don't think that just because you're 35 or you're 39 years old and you can't wait to get into 40 division, that's going to be any easier. You're swimming with the sharks in this area, 40s and the 50s. So
well, you're also messing with a lot more experienced people, which comes with a lot more also. My rating's pretty low. I got caught up. I wanted to play. I had 5 tournaments last year I wanted to play. I started a couple of them. I started off real bad, and I didn't get to finish the rest of them. And so I actually had to put disc golf down, the podcast down, for about a year or so. In that year or so of going through some mental health issues, I found that disc golf was the best thing for me to clear my head, to get myself right. And it was real good exercise for me also. During that time, my game leveled up like 4 or 5 times. It had to. I don't think there was a day that I wasn't hitting a disc golf course. I was going to the gym 4 times a week, eating almost 3,000 calories a day. I had a real good health plan in line. And I mean, I started throwing real well. I added within almost a year, I added about 75 feet to a drive. I throw about 430s right now. I wish my putting was a little bit more consistent, but that will come with more experience, just like everything else did. So I decided, I think I felt at a plateau to a point. If I played with open in the division, like with Paul Macbeth or something, I'd have nothing to do with that whatsoever. I couldn't even be on that if I wanted to. So I figured, why not go with the people who I could play with now here in this division, has a lot more experience, and I could learn from them also. So I went ahead and did it, and it was the best thing that I did, and I met a lot of great people doing it. As for you, and I got to play with a whole bunch of other people, and it's been a blast. It's been a lot of blast, and we appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate your support also.
Yeah, I'm thank you so much for that. And fellowship is, I agree with you. It's one thing that brings me joy in getting out is I often say the story all the time. I come from a background of football, basketball, baseball, anything that just rolled down on the ground. I was playing at the highest level in the city. And it just came with team sports, and you come with that camaraderie and the ability to be jovial with each other, kind of, dig at each other, laugh at each other, but you
Bro,
at the end of the
I
day,
had
when you
such
walk
a
away, you're
blast.
still friends. At the end of the day, you just laugh, and I love to see people hit trees, but it's because they're talented and it makes me laugh. It's not because I'm laughing at them. We're laughing together during a time that's fellowship, and it's wonderful for me. I can tell you that right now. Probably the number one reason why I play.
I had such a blast at the last tournament I went to go follow at Cypress Disc Golf. Lone Star also sponsored it over there at Texas Army Trail. I got to follow around AP, Jason Mays, a whole bunch of other great players. And I don't think at that time there was no bigger high to getting to watch people play, walk behind them, and not just to watch them, but them allowing us to watch them play and move from card to card and get to see how each person played and stuff. It was such truly an honor and a blast. And that's why I want to do more. And I want to try to spread it more, not just here for this local community, but all local communities. And that's what the Disc Golf, Local Route Disc Golf podcast is about. It's supporting all disc golf communities, not just here, but show love to all the communities. Help
Yeah.
people like you do to get out there, help grow the sport. And, hopefully we do something, man.
That was leading off to my next question, which is story time, and that had a lot to do with the passion of the disc golf route the podcast that you do. I'm sorry, my tongue always gets twisted, and I have a hard time remembering my name.
It's all right.
I did kind of want to hear the story because there are two other gentlemen that were involved in this, are involved in your podcast as well. And it kind of sounds like you did what Hemi and I did. It was almost the COVID thing where we were looking at each other like, we have passion, we have time, we have thoughts, we have things we want to do. And that's how the Fling Show was born. And it's just kind of evolved through time as that. And I do want to give a shout out to Hemi for the music. All this music that you hear that we play, that's from David Hemmeline. He has all of that stuff. So, and he sends me some more stuff today, and that's what y'all going to hear a little bit later. But tell us a little bit about your podcast and fill us in on things you haven't already told us about.
We got started with friends wanting to do something more for the community. We've seen how Houston Disc Golf, Cypress Disc Golf, Northside Chain Gang gets together with events, and they cohesive so well whenever they work together. I love it. It's great teamwork, good fellowship, great networking amongst the fellas. And we wanted to be a part of that. And everybody had their own thing that they were doing. We didn't know that there was a Fling Show at that time. I don't know if y'all were doing it that time because of COVID or not. So we actually put together a putting contest in a backyard here at my house. And it went fairly well, and it drew quite a few people. We decided to have like a little club called Organized Chaos. And then from there, we wanted, instead of just throwing like a little tournament putting contest in the backyard, we wanted to do more. So me and Bubba came up with the idea of shooting a podcast. We don't know anything about video cameras or anything like that. And it's a learning experience every single day. And just when you think you have it figured out, something else happens, and you got to be on top of it all the time. We decided that we wanted to call the local route because, for one, I'm a squirrel. We're all over the place, and there's a local route on every course. It may not be the best way to go, but you're going to make the best of it. And that's what Organized Chaos is about. That is what the Local Route Disc Golf podcast is about. We want to help our disc golf community, our family, people who may have a hard time trying to get out there. We want to make that happen for them. And so it's a learning experience every day, and we enjoy doing it because we get to do what we love, and that's the best thing. As far as new things, yes. I don't know if you heard, but there's a new player coming up, Chris Macias. Chris Macias, the real Macias, who is sponsored with Cypress Disc Golf Company. Shout out to Noble and Matt Jewett and all them out, Greg Barton out there. Jody. They're all doing a great job out there. It's pretty awesome. I got a little disc golf shop, probably like 15 minutes down the road from where I live. I'm going to be helping sponsoring him. He asked if we'd like to collaborate with him and help him get through his journey for next year of 2023, since he just got on with Lone Star. So we're going to help sponsor him. And I'm very, very happy and stoked to do that with him. And I think it's awesome. And I'm very honored that somebody asked us to do that for him. So we're going to do the best we can for him and hopefully help him out to succeed. Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. And yes, I did see him, and I've heard about him now, and I look forward to seeing his play next year. Matter of fact, Travis had mentioned him to me in one of our conversations just recently. So that is amazing to do that for a nice young man like that. I know that we often not only from the Fling Show, but you know that I do still banging as well.
Yes,
get people asking for sponsorships and things like that. But my passion has always been for the up and coming player, just like Chris. But even sometimes I'm a diehard for the 4, 3, and 2 spots. You know, those divisions to me are the ones that are sometimes working the hardest, that need that, like you said, that help, and that have a passion for it. And I love giving or seeing people give to those people as well. And that's a wonderful thing that you do with your podcast, because we have a platform. I like to speak to the platform of people that don't have the eyes on them that they should. And I don't necessarily need to always have the pros on. You know, we have a mix of everybody. And it's been just a journey. Like you said, it's a learning curve. Just me getting on tonight once again, for some reason I couldn't get online. Sometimes we have issues with our guests and their mics and things like that. So I understand the trials.
Now I'm gonna have to come to you for some good experience help, man.
Amen to that. Hey, I got a couple of questions before I let you go, because I don't want to hold you long. But can you tell us so far in your podcasting days, can you tell us one of your favorite guests and kind of maybe one of your favorite stories from that guest that came on your show?
I love all of them, and I take all of them to heart, because I take it. It's a privilege. As you know, my podcast, we do video live. We also invite people on to video also if they want to do a screen, which is awesome. And I take a lot of pride and when they come here to the office and they join the show, shows a lot of commitment. I think Scott Stokely was probably my favorite one thus far, but also Trevor Hobart. And I think the reason why they both were my favorite, because it was a surprise. It wasn't nothing that was planned. They popped onto the show and I was so starstruck. I mean, it was crazy. But I think Scott Stokely probably was the favorite, because he had so many different stories to tell. And I mean, he's a great guy. He's doing a lot of great things with him. Shout out to Scott Stokely. A shout out to Michelle Deering, who introduced me to him at one time. I like what he's doing. I love it. I'm hoping maybe to get him on the show here one time or another. But I love them all. Ben Hart was awesome. Farnham's a cool dude. I love him. They're all great people. Matt Jewett was a riot to be with. I love him. He's always got great stories. Other than that, I mean, I think probably Scott Stokely is probably my favorite one thus far.
Yeah, we had Scott on, and it was quite entertaining, because he led off with, well, I don't know where I really am at right now. We're kind of out here by Big Ben somewhere, and I'm just trying to find a tower that I get, just like has no earthly idea where he's at whatsoever. It was great. And then he just led into, as you well know now, some amazing stories. And yes, what he does for disc golf in his community. I want to say it's the Blue something. I can't remember exactly his charity that he does. I'll think of it in a second. But anyway, yeah, we had Scott on. Trevor actually was our first guest that we ever had on the show. Believe it or not, isn't that funny?
I love him.
He was our first guest we ever had on, with Pixie as well. And just
Cannon.
Yeah, so we've been very, very fortunate, Hall of Famers as well. But it's amazing, the stories, and Scott was one of them. And last but not least, what do you Okay. We're on the Fling Show. We're always about positivity, but I do want to ask you a question, and this is kind of from the Still Wagon. Had kind of given me the idea about this, but we want to
Nope.
pass this by you.
All right.
If of what you know about disc golf now, and what about the events that you run, if there's one thing that you could change in disc golf, what would it be?
Change or improve on.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I wish there was more cohesiveness around the local clubs and communities. I completely understand everybody has their own little group going or clubs. You got Houston Disc Golf. Steve Stanley is one of my biggest supporters. I love the guy. I love what he does. He does a lot of hard work, even behind the scenes. I don't think people understand how much there is, even little tournaments, even little bag tags. Sometimes there's a lot behind the scenes. He has a lot to do. I wish we would get together more. Houston Disc Golf, Cypress Disc Golf, Northside Chain Gang, Still Bangins, Lucky Ace. I wish we could do something at least one time a year, 2 times a year, where everybody got together one more time. Gorilla Disc Golf also, sorry, forgot to leave them out. I'm sorry. I wish we could all get together. I remember when I very first started tournaments, there was a tournament I think Matt Stillwagon had. I don't know if it was Oktoberfest at Texas Army Trail, but I think Houston Disc Golf had something to do with it. I seen Noble there, I think, for like the first time or something. Matt Stillwagon was there, and he was the TD at the time. And it really meant something to me that a lot of people can get together and make something happen. I wish we can do that again. I hope we can. I like to get a hold of quite a few people and see if we could do something like that. I think it'd be awesome to do that.
You and I have the platform, I think, that may allow for it, because I'm like you. Yes, I'm part of Still Banging, but I don't play in my own cat box. I like to go outside of it. And I like you just said, this community is so big. There's so many players, and there's so many different organizers and tournament directors and tournaments being run, and thank God for them, because they're hard. It's a lot of freaking work to do this, and I appreciate every single person who does it. But I agree with you. If there's one thing that I would like to see in our community alone, is a more cohesiveness, because we have so many courses, and I just think they would benefit us. But I think you and I have also seen and heard, because the previous conversations that we're allowed to have with people, sometimes they don't think alike, and coming together is often difficult. Not impossible, because I'll never say anything's impossible. Hopefully sometimes necessity brings people together. And hopefully that may be the case moving forward, because we could all be stronger together. I've always said that 1,000 times. We will be stronger together than we will ever be apart.
Hey man, we have too many little powerhouses here around the whole surrounding Houston area. We have to get to something to make one huge like bomb or something, like one big explosion to happen. We have a whole bunch of huge strong arms around. We have to, and now even Lone Star is in the mix. So it gets even bigger and better. So we need something, everybody to get together and do something. And that's what I hope to do. And that's like, geez almighty, how much almost bigger can you get that Nico's coming over here to Lone Star? Lone Star is giving Nico a chance to shine, to let everybody know that, hey, just because you fall, it's okay. That's not what makes you a champion. What makes you a champion is getting your rear back up and climbing back up that mountain. The only time you're allowed to stand on the plateau is to look down and see at your success that you did before. But don't stand too long. You got to keep climbing. And that's the whole goal. And it's to keep pushing, to keep climbing. And I'm hoping we could do that with this community, is get everybody together and rise to the top and don't stop. Houston Disc Golf, Northside Chain Gang, the whole surrounding area, we all rock, and I want everybody to know that.
Amen. Well put. I couldn't even put that better, to be honest with you. And that is my goal as well.
Can I
Well,
give a quick shout out real quick?
I want before we let you go, I just wanted to also say I want you to give a shout out to your sponsors and to whoever else you may have missed or you want to thank. And hopefully one day I'll get to come on your show if
Well,
invited.
you will soon. You will soon, definitely. We already talked about that. We will make that happen. Real quick, we do have a daddy shower going on with Matt Stevens. Do you know? You know Matt?
Matt. I love Matt.
Yep, we're gonna have a diaper shower for him over here at Zuby Park, December 4th. They're having a auction right now for whole 10s, no, whole 9 at Texas Army Trolls Basket. The old basket used to be there. Already got a bid in for that, baby. I have to. If anybody don't know, I asked my wife to marry me on hole 18. So
okay.
Texas Army Trail has a place in my heart. So hey, yeah, it's gonna be at Zuby, December 4th, 10 o'clock. Bring anything you want. Also for Jennifer Castro, we're gonna do a dish drive for her. We already have it started. It ends December 20th. It's Vets Disc Golf Club, and it's a sponsor and help all vets that are in need and need help with disc golf equipment. And I made that special for me. Jennifer, we told her that we'd like to help her, and it ends on December 20th for my birthday. I'll be 45, and for my birthday, I want to be able to have enough stuff to be able to ship for her, and that's what I want to be able to do for my birthday.
And what's your goal?
I want to be able to have a good set of discs and equipment for her, so I could send her to Tennessee, and she could give out for a prize, but make a big old basket for everybody and give to like a disc golf vet in need.
Okay, well, I can guarantee you can count on us for a 10-pack of discs.
I appreciate that very much. I'll send you the details. If anybody else wants to know anything about it, just shoot me a DM over at the Local Route Disc Golf Podcast.
You bet, man. We'll have that. We'll take care of those discs right. You can just check that right on off.
I appreciate it very much, man. I appreciate all y'all's support. And I really love what you do, and I hope I get to learn some more stuff from y'all. So
we all learn from each other, and that's what I wanted to say about what you said about Nico.
What you got?
And I think that's so important to understand that even at my age, everybody deserves an opportunity to grow. There's not one person that I know who has not fallen. Okay, it's our job to stand by and pick them up. And yes, you can name off a number of times people make mistakes. It's not just once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It matters how many times you stand up. Okay. The man's done nothing to kill anybody, murder, nothing that severe. Give people an opportunity to grow. You're going to want it one day yourself. Trust me.
Well, you know, this is
90% of you are going to want it yourself one day, especially if you ever have kids. Let me tell you right there. Okay. If you got kids, which I do, you're going to want that opportunity. So remember, in your vitriol and your typing and your texting and your TikTok and all that other stuff that I don't pay attention to, because typically what this is a one-way street. But remember that, because you're going to want that opportunity one day. You really are. And just, I thought that was very, very well put. It's not about falling down. It's about getting up, and it's about allowing people the space to get up as well.
Right. You know, it's real easy to fall. Matter of fact, it's so easy, anyone can do it. Look, I'm so used to talking to the microphone, I'm leaning over to the mic. But you know, it's easy to fall, you know, but the hard thing is getting back up and still be able to push forward while taking punches. And that's what it's about. That's what makes a true champion. You know, I hope him the best, and I want to be there for him. I know everybody else around here is, and you know, I think he'll do good things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that for other people. There's other people living that life right now. Other people that I know, other people that other people know as well, and you know them. They need your support. Yes, sometimes you have to be hard on them. Sometimes you have to say, hey, man, that's not the right thing to do. And you got to tell them the right and the wrong, no matter. It's not about whether they want to hear it. It's do they need to hear it? And once they've heard it, then give them the opportunity. Okay. Stop yelling and screaming at people and step back a moment and allow them to grow. That's all I'm saying, man.
I agree with you 100%.
Even at the age of 50, brother, I can tell you that. And I'm older than 50 now, 57. So even at that age, I always have the opportunity. But James, thank you so much for coming on. I just would be remiss if I didn't want to make sure that you've thanked everybody before we leave. Is there anybody else like to thank before I let you go?
Absolutely. I'd like to give a shout out to Bruce Williams, who's the franchise owner for Jersey Mike's. He sponsors the local disc golf podcast. We love what he does. If we do an event or something, he's going to do the proceeds are going to go out to a charity event or fundraisers. Love to give a shout out to Citizen Soldier. They're a band, and they basically play about mental health disorder, and very, very good band. They allow us to use their music so we don't get in trouble anymore. And so I appreciate everybody that's helped me out. Steve Stanley, Houston Disc Golf, Noble, everybody out there. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but much love. Everybody's always welcome to come on to the podcast. I wish you the best. I wish everybody else out there the best too. And thank you for everybody's support. I really appreciate it.
All right, James, man. Well, I can't wait to have you back
Oh,
on.
real quick, I do have to give a shout out to Bubba Widener, who has stuck there with me through the very, very first beginning of all this. Even whenever I was down and out, hey, the man came over there and picked me up and told me he wanted to start the podcast back over again, even though I was having doubts about it. So in reality, if it weren't for him, we probably would not have been picked back up and doing this again. He couldn't be here right now, so shout out to you, Bubba.
Awesome, man. Well, James, thank you for coming on tonight. You have a great night, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace. All right. I tell you what, I find myself luckier and luckier every guest that we have. I win each and every time. But it's time to go on to the rest of the show. I'd like to thank Caleb and James for coming on this evening. Thank you both. But some big things happened on Black Friday. It was amazing, folks. I drove up thinking, oh my goodness, I'll get there right at opening, do a little fling bite, try to strum in some business, bring some people to the grand opening of Lone Star Disc new, as you can see, their new center there. It was amazing, just packed all the way to the road when I got there. And as you can see, there was a line out the door. There's a line around circling around the goods and all the disc and churches. You can see right there as well. Got to play the 9-hole course, the private course that was out there. Everyone who brought something got to go play that. I've been fortunate enough to play it a few times already, but you can see Sinjin out there and Brittany as well. This is a family-run business, and they just did wonderful things out there. I also had the opportunity to drop off a well-deserved trophy. Thank you, BZ Strick, for the trophy you made that for our first our Salute the Troops tournament that Lone Star Disc did. And Travis won the Navy division. Got to give him his beautiful trophy right there. I know he's so proud of that. It is a great looking trophy. And I also got to hand Connor O'Boyle his as well. He won the Air Force division, and he loves that course anyway, but he tore it up at Northside Christian Church. We were so proud to give him his disc as well. Congratulations to you both. Yeah, it was well earned. Well, folks, it's time. Part 2. She's back. And yes, we're going to get to see part 2 of Christiani's health tips. And as you know, what we're dealing with this time is we get to see how health travel benefits us all.
Hi, Chris and Fling Show fans. Bill and Christiani are back with another health tip of the week. Last week, we are talking about the benefits of exploring new places. And today, we're gonna explain why it's so great for your mental health. One of the main reasons to get away is to de-stress. You can relax by the pool or taking some fresh countryside air. Whatever it is, studies suggest it only takes a day or two of switching off for you to leave your troubles behind. Too much stress isn't good for your mental health, and taking a break once in a while can protect you from further mental health issues, such as depression. Visiting new places is also a great way to keep your brain active. When you are young, you are learning all the time. However, as you get older, your brain doesn't always get as much as exercise as it used to. So, your next adventure could provide the mental stimulation your brain needs to keep it ticking over. Pack your bags, don't forget your discs, and go to take care of your mental health. And that's all for today. See you next week for another travel health tip. Chin chin to the ones that never give up and go through something in the air. Love you guys. Ciao. He didn't want to go. Bye.
Oh, yes. Travel. Travel is a wonderful thing for the mental health. We get that out in disc golf. We get to travel quite a bit, whether it's to the course or just walking course, traveling through, being out in the open. It is a way to invigorate and stimulate the brain. I love it. I highly recommend it. And I'm very appreciative of it. But more appreciative of anything is the fact that we are sponsored by a wonderful company, Lone Star Disc. Thank you for everything that you do for the Fling Show. And thank you for everything that you do for the community. Quite impressive. The fact that everybody showed up like that. I've never in my wildest dreams thought it'd be parked all the way off to 13, 14, the parking lot full. Just amazing. And I cannot wait to see what happens in the future. And folks, until then, it's time to let y'all go. So as we like to say here, go play disc golf, throw something at the air. Peace. Good night, folks.